Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. I'm Barbara. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Today I'm in the tunnel doing my first garden tour for the summer. So it's the last week of May. And so we're going to officially kick off summer and do our first garden tour. Now, I haven't decided. Normally I do these tours monthly. That's what I've done in years past. But sometimes, y'all know, the stuff be growing fast. So I'm contemplating not doing a garden tour maybe weekly, like in depth, but maybe doing like what I call a garden walk, as I walk through the garden and just point out some specific things instead of like going over every little thing. I don't know. Tell me what y'all think about that. Sometimes you may have garden tour overload. I don't know. But nevertheless, this is the first one and I'm excited to give it in the high tunnel. Now, for those that are new to me, I'm in Tennessee. I'm in zone 7A and I have 3 primary growing spaces. I have 5 raised beds behind my house. I have a high tunnel that's 30 by 96. And I also have an in-ground garden that's about, what is it now? I just expanded it, about 4,000 square feet. So a lot of growing space. I definitely will do the high tunnel tour separate from the in-ground garden tour. I'm sorry, there's something flying around here. I will definitely do the in-ground garden tour separate from the high tunnel tour, just because 4,000 square feet alone is a whole video by itself. And sometimes I may couple the raised beds behind my house with the high tunnel, but for today I'm just going to do the high tunnel because we just talked about the stuff behind my house in one of the videos last week. So you guys saw what's going out there. Right now in the last week of May, behind my house, I have 3 beds of onions and 2 beds of garlic growing. That will be transitioning in the month of June. We'll be harvesting that stuff and then we'll be planting out our second succession of summer crops. But for now, let me take you through what's growing in the tunnel and how everything's doing the last week of May. Starting at the table, if you saw my video last week when I had my planting party, this is the stuff that did not get planted. I know in the video I showed you, hey, my table is clear, but I didn't want to leave the stuff that didn't get planted out there, so I had to bring it back into the table. And even though it looks like a lot, it is. But what you didn't know is that it looked like this before, but there were like, I don't know, maybe 8 trays at my house that's no longer there. There is nothing in my house anymore. This is what all is left. And although it looks like a lot, it's not nearly as much as what we started with. We started with almost 600 plants. And if I had to guess, we probably have, I don't know, maybe 100 or so. But we got to get those out as well. And then let me show you the last batch of seedlings that we did together. These are my second succession tomatoes. We planted these together about a couple of weeks ago. And you can see they're all doing really, really well. I've already started to thin some of them out because, you know, tomato seeds are small and it's hard to just sow just one. I had perfect germination all the way across, and that's because I'm sure it had multiple seeds. And then I want to show you this. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. On the right hand side there where you see the little smaller ones, that's eggplant. Okay, there's some bee that's incessant that wants to keep flying around me, and I don't want it to fly around me. Go do your job, go pollinate. So I stepped outside for a second. But on that last tray that I showed you, I did a video about my second succession of tomatoes. Those are the tomatoes that's going to go behind my house. They are cherry tomatoes, paste tomatoes, some peppers, and the like. And then on the very far right of that tray were 8 eggplant, diamond eggplant. I have never done diamond eggplant that I started. And here's what I want to tell you is that I started these probably about 2 weeks ago. I came in, I put them on the heat mat, and within 3 or 4 days, I had germination on my tomatoes. So I took it off the heat mat and put it under light. The eggplant literally just germinated about 3 days ago. And I saw like 1 or 2 and I'm like, okay, finally. Because I had given up. I was like, okay, the eggplant is not going to germinate. And so to be honest, I really wasn't like on the watering of it because I'm like, all the tomatoes had germinated. They had light. I was watering them. And I was really like half doing the eggplant because really I'm like, they're done. They're not, I mean, they didn't germinate. Y'all, all the eggplant germinated. And I know that eggplant is like peppers. They can take a while. But when I say they took a while, they took like 2 weeks to germinate. But all of them are up. So in that tray is perfect germination. So I just say, sometimes we give up too soon. If you are still doing tomatoes, peppers, especially peppers and eggplant, they can take up to 14 days. I'm living proof. So don't give up. let's go back in the tunnel and see what's going on. Bed number 1 looks good. On the left-hand side are peppers, and in the back is the eucalyptus. Then we have some nasturtiums at the very base of the bed. In the middle is cilantro, and the cilantro is getting a bit lacy. And when it does that at the top, like really lacy, you can tell that it may be ready to bolt at any moment. And that's okay. We've had a good run if it does. And then over here is dill and peppers. So I told you before, I haven't been that successful with growing peppers in a raised bed in the tunnel. They do okay, but I never get a bountiful harvest. So we'll see what these do. This is a mixture of, I got an Anaheim pepper in here, a couple of jalapenos, I think a chili, and then a serrano. So we'll see how it does. Now moving over here to the next bed. This is my bed of lettuce, and you can see here I have my sweet potato slips right there. That's gonna go in this bed. So I'm actually gonna harvest this lettuce in the next couple of days and replace either this bed or another bed with sweet potatoes. I haven't decided which one. Yeah, I haven't decided which one. We'll see. But either if I don't harvest the lettuce completely in this bed, then I'm going to add more fresh lettuce to it, so it'll still be a lettuce bed, or it'll be filled with sweet potatoes. You see I got my sweet potato slips, and then in the very back of this row is celery that I bought as some starts. Moving to the third bed on the right hand side, this is what I call my pollinator patch, and so this bed is nothing but flowers. So there's that bee. Okay. This is celosia in this middle row. This row here is aster, and then that row there on the far left side is zinnias, and in the back are some marigolds. Now we're on the right side of, well, the left side of the tunnel when you come in. In this grow bag are my Yukon Gold potatoes. If you don't know, this is my very first time using a grow bag. This is, I think, a 10-gallon, either 10 or 15, I don't remember. But they are growing so nicely. And there you can see, if I can get a little bit closer, you can see I got a little bit of flowers coming there. So I'm excited about that. Look at my lettuce bed. It is doing well. We harvested off of this probably a couple of times now. Last week, the lettuce tastes so good. And it's doing really, really, really well. I'm very pleased with the lettuce. And in this bed is a mix. This is all from Johnny's. I have a green incised, a red incised, a green butter, and a red butter. And then there's one other kind that I don't remember the name of. But if you remember, the ones on the very far right, those are ones that I transplanted from another bed, remember, to make room for my peppers. And you can see they're doing good. Like, I transplanted, gave them lots of water. They were looking like they were on the struggle bus at first, but after 3 or 4 days, they got settled into their new home and they're doing good. I have my pots of herbs there. There's some lemon thyme on the left and some mint on the right. Now, this bed is where I had my broccoli. I harvested my broccoli, but let me take you closer and show you one other thing. Look at that, y'all. Cauliflower. I have 2 cauliflower in here that are heading up quite nice. But I am afraid I can see some leaf damage there. I think I'm going to actually harvest it, even though it's kind of small, because I really believe I'm going to lose it if I don't. That's what I think. And the rest of this bed was broccoli that the insects got to, and it turned yellow and it went to seed. And then the rest of this bed is just flowers. Let me show you. You can see my snapdragons, my Dusty Miller there, and just some snapdragons. So this is the bed I was talking about that I may put my sweet potatoes in. So here's the thing, y'all know I hate to take away something good and just to put another start there, but sometimes you have to do it, right? So like the cauliflower, I feel fairly certain that in a few days, like, it's not gonna make it through the whole thing, because I can already tell that I have some leaf damage, and I need to inspect the cauliflower because it may be something, at the bottom that I'm not seeing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and harvest it. That'll leave this bed with just snapdragons and Dusty Miller. And I love my Dusty Miller and I love my snapdragons. But I'm thinking about putting my sweet potatoes there. But if I do, that means I got to pull those up and I don't have a place to put them. I really don't. I don't have any pots. I don't have anything. Versus if I don't put the sweet potatoes there, they're going to go in the lettuce bed. That means I got to get rid of all my lettuce. And the new lettuces that I'm planting out, I could put the new lettuce in this cauliflower bed with the snapdragons and the Dusty Miller. But I don't think I can put my sweet potatoes in there because the sweet potatoes is just going to take over. So I don't know, y'all. Decisions. It's part of it. And I do this and I struggle every single time. Look at this. This is my bed of Yukon Gold potatoes. They don't have flowers yet, but man, do you see that? They are doing quite well. So I'm excited about that. They look good. Then if we go over here to this round bed, this is the herb bed that you guys helped me replant. So far, looks good. There's basil in there, lavender, sage, and eucalyptus. And now let's look at the in-ground stuff. This first row are my cucumbers. And as you can see, let's get a little closer. You can see I have some yellow flowers. These definitely need to be trellised. I am behind on trellising. And these are starting to intertwine. So I gotta do something quick with those. But you can see they're growing quite nicely. Those are some smaller cucumbers that came later. Those are some marigolds. And then the rest of the aisle is eggplant that doesn't look too hot. Y'all, I don't know if this is salvageable or not. It looks more yellow on the phone than it really is, but you can kind of see the lacing and the brown spots. It's been like this for a week or so, so it's still there, but I just don't know. Like this one, I think it's done. That's done. But I don't know if this is salvageable or not. We shall see. This right here, the middle row, is a row full of peppers. I had to replace probably 5 or 6 of these because they just didn't do well. I don't know if it was transplant shock, if it just, I don't know. But like 5 or 6 of them didn't do well and I had to replace them. But I see a pepper here. Look at that. And this is a Ajvarsky, which is a roasting red pepper. It'll turn red. So look, that looks good. Let's see. So overall, these look okay. My marigolds are not doing good. They're just looking dead. But so far, okay. They're going a little bit slow, I think. This is another row of peppers. These are bell peppers. So y'all see this one here? That is what they were looking like before, even though I was watering. Like this one looks like it needs more water. So I'm gonna let that one in there, but that's how they were looking, but worse than that, the ones that I had to pull up. But y'all can see, overall, they look decent, but I wonder if they were stunted because most of these were in the tunnel when it was below 50 degrees at night. And I remember I said they look good, but it could have just slowed down their growth. I see one pepper here. That's a shishito that's growing. And that's it for this side of the tunnel. This side is all tomatoes. These 2 rows here, they all, just as you look down, they all look good. Again, they're in desperate need of trellising as well. But y'all know you can only do so much. But I got to do something before they start laying on the ground completely. But you can see here a little flower come into bud. They look good. I also need to prune these because they haven't been pruned in over a week. I'll get it in the middle so you can kind of see. So all of these are looking good, but like you can see, this one here is laying down. It needs to be stood up for sure. There's one little tomato there, two little tomatoes. So they're definitely ready to produce. Both of these rows look really, really good. They just need to be pruned and trellised. Just little bitty tomatoes and stuff coming through, and yellow flowers. The very last spot is the circular round bed here. This is nothing but flowers and herbs. So you can see I have some basil there, rosemary, marigolds, parsley, just a mix. All of that is looking good as well. So y'all, overall, for the first week of May, I feel good about the progress. I feel good about how most things are looking. I would say 99% of it looks really good. The things I notice and that I know need to be done pretty immediately is trellising and pruning of the cucumbers and the tomatoes. Like, that's like 911 priority for sure. I don't know when I can get it done, but I'm going to try my best to get it done. The other thing is, I don't know if my eggplant is going to be okay. I have fertilized it and watered it, and like, it's not completely brown, but I don't know if it's going to bounce back. But I'm going to leave it in there another week because why not? And then my middle row of peppers, they look okay. They don't look great. And so I don't know, again, like I said, they were in the tunnel. Yeah, they were in the tunnel overnight when I had all the stuff in my house and I was running out of space. They were in the tunnel. It might have gotten down to, I don't know, 45, 48, somewhere along in there. And peppers usually, they needed to be over 50 or above overnight temperatures. And it definitely was not for a few days. And so it could have just like slowed down their growth. I don't know. And the peppers in here are hybrid peppers. So I was expecting more because they're supposed to be, you know, good for production. But the fact that I had to like get rid of probably at least 6 peppers. Now, I guess out of 60 peppers, if I had to guess between 2 rows, I guess 6 is not a lot. That's like 10%. But I don't know. I just thought they're hybrid. They're tough. They can withstand anything. But I did have to get rid of them because they never like bounce back once I put them in the ground. The cucumbers are growing fast. I believe I'll have cucumbers in the next week or 2 for sure. So I definitely need to get those trellised up. But overall, I'm pleased with how things are looking. I feel like my tomatoes over there are looking good. I want to make sure that I get those trellised up and pruned. And I'll try to do a video this summer about pruning and how I'm pruning and the reason why it's important to prune. I'll tell you, my first, let me walk this way. My first year of gardening, I did no pruning, right? I did absolutely no pruning. I didn't have a good year. Last year, I did more pruning, more trellising, much better, especially in the outside, the in-ground garden. We had trellis with cattle panels. This year, we're going to try a new trellising method in the tunnel. I'll try to take you along with that as we do it. But yeah, I'll just tell you that pruning and trellising works. Your tomatoes need support. Tomatoes, if you do nothing, they will lay flat and grow along the ground. You saw how mine were doing. They have to be stood up. They have to be supported. They don't naturally just want to go vertical. You have to make them and train them to go vertical. But I guess if I had to sum it up, my hardest decision now is where I'm going to put my sweet potatoes. Which bed has to be sacrificed for my sweet potatoes, because some bed has to be sacrificed for these sweet potatoes. So I got to decide that. That's the hardest decision I got today. I think that's like I think I can suck that up and not even complain about it and just make the decision and go with it, because you know as well as I do that this is just part of it, right? It's all part of it. But I'm excited, y'all. I am so excited. This is what we have been waiting for all winter long, flipping through the seed catalogs, making our orders, making our plans, starting our seedlings. Now the time is here. And I think no matter who's listening to me, unless you're on the other side of the world, It's your time to garden, no matter what zone you're in. I'm thinking that most people should be able, like you've passed your last frost date, maybe. I know there were some people, I think in Virginia and Ohio, that had like frost last week. But I'm thinking for the most part, by the end of May, we should all be able to plant. Because I want everybody to be able to plant, not just me. But thank you guys for going on this garden tour with me. I will do one for the outside. But now, y'all, I got to get to work. I got limited time, as usual. So let me get to work and get some things checked off the to-do list. But thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like what you're saying, please subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment. I love reading you guys' comments. And I just appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to stop by my page. Remember, this is a journey. Let's grow together. Can't wait to see you next time, friend. Bye for now.